Wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up.
Good morning. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning.
Wake up, wake up, wake up.
Morning to you.
Good morning to you on this Tuesday, December 3rd. I have some company here on set with me today. Definitely having a really good time just behind me. So Merry Christmas. I guess that's all left for me to say. I'm Tisha Hines. I'll be here with you until 8 o'clock this morning along with the crew. Gingerbread Man and Santa and this one down here swinging around. They're having an awesome time, as I am sure you are too, getting ready for Christmas 2024. Morning Barbados is brought to you with the compliments of Jordan's Supermarket. We're really happy to have them on board. Of course, they have a very interesting, a big promotion coming up. All you have to do is spend just $50 in cash and you are in with a chance. Fill your name and information out. Drop it in the boxes provided at their 4 locations on Baxter's Road, Fairchild Street, Fitz Village, and Speightstown, and you get a chance to win. Now remember, the competition runs until Friday, 31st January 2025, and every week there will be draws for $5 to $100 grocery vouchers at each supermarket. So you get a chance to win in this big $100,000 plus promotion compliments of Jordan Supermarket. Make sure you are a part of that and select everything you need this Christmas from Jordan Supermarket. I don't know if you guys are still baking and stuff like that. You know, one time everybody needed eggs. Now we know that they've imported some. No increase in prices, thanks to Minister Ware. At this time, I should say, we should have some chicken and all that good stuff. Make it Jordan Supermarket for your choices. Also coming up on today's show, the Jingle All the Way and Win competition is coming up. A chance for you to win and win big. That comes your way with the compliments of Flow and Standard. So all you have to do is when you hear the jingle jingle, which is this piece of corny equipment right here, you get to call us up on 228-5562 or 228-5563. Answer a very simple question and you could win and win big. We're also encouraging you because the CBC company-wide promotion, What You Gonna Give Me for Christmas, that promotion is getting ready to be started as well. But you have to make sure that you're in with a chance. So you have to send your name, address, and telephone number to marketing@cbc.bb or to the number provided on your screen. And make sure your name is registered and your number so that when there's a chance to win, you absolutely are in there with that chance. All right? So you want to make sure you get in all of that necessary information so that you can win big. Today is also a very interesting day, and we're going to be observing this day in a massive way here on Morning Barbados. Every December 3rd is International Day of Persons with Disabilities. So we have a co-host coming in the second hour. Senator Andwele Boyce will be here to co-host with me for today, and we're going to have a few very interesting people passing through to share their stories as well. And interestingly enough, we are hoping to hear about new legislation that's to be laid in Parliament, hopefully today, fingers crossed, that is to the benefit of all disabled people and the greater community at large. So we're looking forward to Senator Andwele Boyce coming through and a few other members who are going to be here to share with us today. But we're going to get things started just the way we do every single Tuesday. That is with Ambassador Comishong, who's Barbados Ambassador to CARICOM. So season's greetings. Good to have you with us.
Thank you, Tisha. It's a pleasure to be here.
All right. Now, we're going to be talking about what you were up to over the last week, but we certainly can't bypass our 58th anniversary of independence celebrations. So a bit of reflection from you on this milestone, also the 3rd anniversary of us being a republic.
Yes, well, first of all, I had a ball. I mean, I was out from early morning, the parade at Kensington Oval, and I want to encourage more Barbadians to come out and enjoy that parade. It's not just the military contingents on parade, but it's the students, the young people getting their awards. It is the national honorees. And this year we had a beautiful little pageant put on by members of the Cadet Islands Cadet Corps, exhibiting their history. So really, really wonderful, wonderful. And you know, it's not like the old days where you stood up in the sun at the garrison. Now you're seated in the beautiful, reconditioned Kensington Oval. And then, of course, it was on to the parade down to Bridgetown, and I took that in as well. The Shirley Chisholm exhibition in Parliament, the little reception at the president's residence, and our Vinci friends. You remember we had Noel Adams, the president of the Vincentian Association, with us a few weeks ago, and he promised that the Vincentian Association was going to be celebrating Barbados' independence. So I joined them, and
You went out to Vinci Town?
no, it was at Coraland.
Okay.
It was at Coraland, that community. Many Vincentians live in that community. So they had a nice outdoor session, and I got the callaloo soup and the homemade bread. So I had a ball, Tisha.
Yeah, you told me you were out from day to night.
Yes.
But that's what independence celebrations are really about. So we had a really great time as well, just celebrating. And it felt exceptional this time around. It felt a little different, particularly as we look toward 2025 and we gathering.
Yeah, 2025 is going to be a big year for Barbados. We gathering all year round, but also we'll be hosting the CARICOM Heads of Government Conference in February, and of course CARIFesta in August. So a big year for Barbados. We're going to have to dig deep on our resources, human and otherwise, you know, to do all these activities and do them well.
All right, so we missed you last week. You attended the 59th regular meeting of the Council for Trade and Economic Development, or COTED, in Guyana. And you wanted to share with us exactly what it was about, first of all, and what you were able to accomplish.
Yes, well, just to explain to viewers, so a big part of the work of CARICOM is done by these ministerial councils. So these are councils of, in the case of COTED, the Council for Trade and Economic Development, these are like ministers of trade and so forth. So our delegation was led by Honorable Kerry Simmons. It included our Director of Foreign Trade, myself, some support officers from Export Barbados, from Ministry of Industry, and indeed even from the private sector. And so a very big agenda. It's a 2-day meeting at CARICOM headquarters in Guyana. We cover all kinds of things, but I just wanted to focus on 5 issues that I think would be of most interest to Barbadians, and let's see if we can knock them off quickly. First of all, the ongoing preparations for the full freedom of movement regime. So just to let Barbadians know that this is still on stream. There were 2 things kind of holding it back, and that was to get agreement on emergency health care and primary healthcare services. So just persons, CARICOM migrants coming into any CARICOM country to reside and work would know that they have guaranteed access to emergency healthcare, primary healthcare services, and so the technical officers are just working on pinning down those definitions. So we expect that work will be completed, and by the time we come to the Heads of Government Conference in Barbados in February next year, we would be able to roll out this new regime. And again, just to let everyone know that at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, we are being proactive. We have been doing consultations with our Immigration Department, Ministry of Home Affairs, Ministries of Education, Health, the National Insurance Scheme. So we want to make sure that Barbados is ready, you see? And you should hear more about such consultations going into the new year. The other thing that came up at the meeting concerning freedom of movement was that, you know, even though we are moving to this full freedom of movement, it's anticipated that it will take at least 3 years to phase that in. And while we are phasing it in, we are still going to be operating the CARICOM skills national regime. And in any event, there are at least 2 countries that are not going to be participating in the full freedom of movement, so they will continue to operate the skills national. That is Antigua and Haiti. So it was decided at Quoted that we want to add a 13th category of skills to the 12 that already exist. And the new category that we looked at is skilled workers in the aviation sector. So we are talking aircraft maintenance engineers, professional pilots, air traffic controllers, flight operations officers, maintenance technicians, flight attendants, aviation security officers, flight operations inspector, airworthiness inspector, and I can go on and on. So a whole range of occupations in the aviation sector. And so we are all doing our national consultations. Of course, Barbados will be in favor of this category being added. And in fact, all CARICOM countries really should be in favor. And it is expected that that decision to add this category will be made at the Heads of Government Conference in Barbados in February. Also, Tisha, so that's a third thing that I think would be of interest to Barbadians. We did an alteration of the common external tariff to provide greater protection to Barbados's paint manufacturers. You know, the common external tariff is the tariff that we impose on foreign products coming into our Caribbean community. So it was determined that we needed to give more protection to our domestic paint producers, Berger, Harris, Trouble Plastic, and so it was agreed. Quoted agreed that they in fact should be given that added protection through an adjustment of the common external tariff. So, you know, those are 3. there are 2 others that that I think Barbadians would be interested in as it relates to Barbados. Barbados was, over the last 6 months, Barbados was doing a pilot project with in order to do trade in CARICOM, as you know, goods that are manufactured in CARICOM that meet the CARICOM origin specifications don't have any duty applied to them. They trade duty-free. But there's something called a certificate of CARICOM origin. So over the last 6 months, Barbados had applied to CARICOM for permission to do a pilot project where we would transition from manual certificate of origin, CARICOM origin, you know, paper, all the paperwork, to an electronic certificate of origin. So we did that 6-month pilot supervised by the Regional Customs Committee, and we made a report to Quoted. The report basically showed that it was an outstanding success, that the new electronic certificate was more secure, more efficient, it speeded up all of the processing. And so at this Quoted, Barbados was given permission to make this a permanent feature of our trade-in regime. So this is all part of our digitalization process, where we are more and more, we are moving to electronic processes that are more efficient and more cost effective.
So what qualifies a good to be to receive a certificate of CARICOM origin?
Well, a certain percentage of the inputs, if it's a manufactured good, a certain percentage of the inputs have to be CARICOM inputs, inputs that are indigenous to us. Of course, if it's an agricultural product, well, that is produced in CARICOM, so it's of CARICOM origin. So so to qualify for duty-free treatment, to be treated as a CARICOM product that is entitled to trade free of any duty, as opposed to a foreign product that will attract the common external tariff, you have to be able to certify that it does meet the standards of being of CARICOM origin. So that's where this certificate comes in. And in the past, everything was done by paper, very, long-winded, inefficient processes. So we are now moving to digitalization. So thus far, Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago, and Barbados will be the three that have moved to digitalize the whole process.
Makes life a whole lot easier, particularly when you're dealing with cross-national matters. And speaking of standards, the next one has to deal with CrossQ, which is the CARICOM Regional Organization for Standards and Quality. So we're going to talk about that after we come back from this break. Remember, Morning Barbados is brought to you with the compliments of Jordan Supermarket. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
We're still having conversations on CARICOM with David Comishong, Barbados Ambassador to CARICOM, and we were just about to talk about that fifth tenet, that fifth thing that happened at the 59th regular meeting of COTED that you wanted to share with us, which has to do with CrossQ.
Yeah. Well, this would be of relevance to all Barbadians. So this has been this has been in the works for some time now. CrossQ. This is our regional institution that sets standards for products and processes. And for some time now, they were working on a new standard for front labeling of prepackaged food items, that are sold in supermarkets and so forth. And they went through this whole process of developing this new standard that would really protect the consumers of the Caribbean, that would stipulate, all of the information that consumers need that must go on the front of the packaged food item. All the ingredients, all the nutrition information, date of expiry, and all of that. So they finally, after going through all the different consultation processes, they finally got permission from COTED at this COTED. So this standard now becomes the regional standard that all CARICOM countries will have to implement. So if any country had a national standard that falls short of this new regional standard, they will have to transition to the regional standard. So our consumers could rest assured now that there will be a big improvement in all of the information that is mandated now. All manufacturers, all distributors must put that information on the front of the package.
This will make a big difference to extra-regional trade as well, because I know for international, other extra-regional countries, it's important to be able to share that information in large part to be able to export into certain markets as well.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So the new CARICOM standard will be in line, with the highest standards anywhere internationally. And of course, one of the stipulations would be that this information has to be in the language of the Caribbean community. So, sometimes we see products and they're in Spanish, or usually Spanish, that we don't, it's not our language. So yes, it's all about really protecting the Caribbean customer. But yes, you make a very good point. It's going to help us with our extra-regional trade as well.
It's also a big win for those in the health sector who have been advocating for this for quite some time as well, for front of packaging labeling, so that people are able to make informed decisions about what they buy and consume.
Yes, and that's the whole idea. So there are even stipulations about that you can't mislead the customer into thinking that this product is some other product, or that this product has benefits that it really doesn't have. So yeah, there'll be lots of protection there for our people, our consumers. And this is just really to give our viewers an idea of the range of work that CARICOM does. I mean, CARICOM really touches everything. There's nothing that you could think of that CARICOM is not involved in.
That's excellent. I certainly hope that level of labeling will be expected of service providers, particularly fast food providers across the region as well. I think that'll be an important move as well. Not sure if it will fall under COTED or the individual countries, but that certainly is something that we need to look at.
Well, CROSCU is the regional institution, so sometimes countries have their own national standards, but the whole idea of CROSCU is to have best practices and to develop regional standards that would then supersede lesser quality, national standards.
All right, so I know we started out talking about independence celebrations and all that happened, but there are a number of things that happened around independence that have a regional focus and regional reach that we need to talk about. There was the renaming of an amphitheater that I'm sure it has a special place in your heart as well.
Yes, in fact, I rushed home from COTED. COTED was Wednesday and Thursday last week, and I let the chairman know early o'clock. Look, we need to get back to Barbados for Thursday evening. Fortunately, I was able to get a scotch on a regional security system plane, because so I was able to get back just in time.
And not the drink, right? And not the drink.
No. I just wanted a seat to make sure that I could get home to Barbados on Thursday evening, rush down from the airport to Queen's Park to get to the official opening ceremony of the Marcus Garvey Amphitheater. And I got there in time. I got there during Prime Minister Motley's address. And so, yes, I got the tail end of it. But I had to be there. I mean, I had been calling for, I was calling for the steel shed to be named after Marcus Garvey way back. And I had made that call because in October 1937, Marcus Garvey visited Barbados and spoke to Barbadians at the steel shed. But when government announced plans to build a new amphitheater, and to name it the Marcus Garvey Amphitheatre. I'm more than satisfied with that. And so, yes, it was wonderful, but the significance of it from a CARICOM perspective is here is Barbados lifting up and honoring and naming a Barbadian facility after a fellow CARICOM citizens. As we know, Marcus Garvey was from Jamaica. So that is a nod to regional integration and regional solidarity. But of course, even though Garvey was Jamaican, Garvey was really also a hero for the Barbadian people. And I make the point that in the 1920s and 30s, Marcus Garvey and his Universal Negro Improvement Association had a tremendous impact and influence on Barbados. I mean, you could scarcely find a black public man or woman, involved in public and civic affairs who was not either a member of the UNIA or who was deeply, deeply influenced by Marcus Garvey. Clement Payne, Israel Lovell, Charles Duncan O'Neill, Clennell Wickham. We can go on and on. So it sent the naming of the amphitheater after Marcus Garvey has sent a very positive Caribbean integration message all across our region.
And that, of course, continued on Saturday during the honors ceremony, where we saw that another Caribbean national was given a very high honor as well, Eddie Grant.
A Caribbean icon.
Caribbean
icon. And now that pleased me no ends. Eddie Grant, Guyanese, made his name in the UK as a pioneering musical artist, and then at the end of the decade of the 70s decided he was going to relocate to the Caribbean, and he chose Barbados. He could have gone anywhere. He chose Barbados, and he set up his operations here, and Eddie Grant has made such a tremendous contribution to Barbados. First of all, in music. I mean, the three Gs, Grant, Griner, and Gabby. Tremendous influence in uplifting the standards of recorded music in Barbados. All the work he's done with a plethora of artists, the young Nicholas Branca and Ian Allen at the time, putting them in his international touring band. All of the international acts that he brought to Barbados to record, Rolling Stones, Sting, Elvis Costello, Roberta Flack. We can go on and on. But another thing I give him a lot of credit for, he came to Barbados in 1982 and purchased a dilapidated plantation in St. Philip, Bailey's Plantation, which just turned out to be the home of the Right Excellent General Bussa and the center of the Bussa Rebellion of 1816. So Eddie did Barbados a tremendous good by ensuring that sacred piece of real estate did not fall into the hands of some expatriates, but he acquired it. He rehabilitated it, and he's kept it in pristine condition, really, as a Barbadian national cultural treasure. And of course, there are many, many other contributions that Eddie has made that, it would be too long for me to go through them all here. But suffice to say that it is very pleasing that Barbados has honored this great CARICOM citizen, and it is going to further cement the relationship, especially between Barbados and Guyana. Eddie is a symbol. Eddie really is a symbol of that relationship between Barbados and Guyana.
All right. Well, thank you as always. Very insightful, and leaving us with big smiles this morning as we reflect on our own independence and how we've been able to further advance this move toward full Caribbean integration, which ultimately is your job.
Yes, and I must tell you, it's a job I enjoy doing. It gives me great satisfaction. And as I always say, failure is not an option. We have to succeed. So I am determined, if we have to will it into existence and will it to succeed, that is the attitude we must all have. And I'm really looking forward to the Heads of Government Conference in February next year, where once again, everyone will be coming to Barbados, and we will be determined to have a very successful Heads of Government Conference that takes CARICOM a step further.
All right, thank you so much, Ambassador. As always, wonderful to have you on Morning Barbados.
My pleasure. Thank you,
And
Tisha.
all the best for the season. We'll see you next week.
Yes.
All right, time for another break here on Morning Barbados. Coming up, we're going to share with you some interesting things happening at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital. Specifically, they're talking strategy for the coming year.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
94.7 FM with the kind compliments of Great Health Works, agents for Omega XL and Probiotics. Guardian General Insurance Limited and the Cut and Drive Network brings live coverage of Cricket West Indies Home Series October 31st to December 19th. Join the action, brought to you by Great Health Works, agents for Omega XL and Probiotics. Guardian General Insurance Limited. Live safe, live easy, and the Cut and Drive Network.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
6:38. Welcome back to Morning Barbados. Season's greetings all. I know you definitely are enjoying the weekend shopping. We often only get that around Christmas time, so do it safely though. We definitely look forward to you heading out to the various partners and having a good time. Still to come here on Morning Barbados, you get a chance to win in the Jingle All the Way and Win promotion. It's just a matter of answering a simple question and picking a number. That's it. I'll tell you when. But right now we're joined by a familiar face and one that's growing on us, becoming quite familiar as well. So I'll welcome Neil Clark, who is Chief Executive Officer of the Queen Elizabeth Hospital. Good morning, sir. Good to have you with us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me again.
Welcome. Also here is Shane Seeley, Communications Specialist with the QEH. Good morning, sir.
Always a pleasure to be with you, Tisha.
Always a pleasure to have you back on Morning Barbados.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right. Now, I know that we're getting ready to set the standard, chart a bold path forward with the unveiling of your 2025 to 2028 healthcare strategy. And that includes some engagement with the public. So that's going to start with a town hall meeting that's coming up. Tell us more about that.
So we've got a town hall meeting tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital Auditorium. And we're encouraging as many people as possible to come join us and tell us what they're looking for in their hospital over the next 3 years. We've already done some consultation internally with our own staff and with the Ministry of Health and Wellness, but this is the people's hospital, and we want to get the feedback of as many people as possible into what we've already identified in the draft strategy. In that draft strategy, we cover 5 key themes: healthcare delivery, infrastructure and equipment, workforce, finance, have to be financially sustainable, and ICT, which is the digitisation of the healthcare system. There are 41 objectives that we've identified, 128 initiatives, and we've identified these from those initial consultations and from previous papers, from the balance scorecard, which tells us how well we're doing, where we have some challenges, from patient feedback and from staff feedback. But it's really important for us that we hear from the public about what do they want for their hospital.
Now, I know that you are, kind of out there in the trenches when it comes to communications and engaging. What are people asking for generally when you hear from them, when they reach out to the various services offered by the QEH to be able to share relevant information and so on? What do Barbadians want to hear about? What do they want to know?
The top of the list is more transparency from the Queen Elizabeth Hospital, which they will be getting through the 2025 to 2028 strategy. But they also want to know how to best navigate their hospital, how to best access the services, and how not to waste time accessing those services. So under the strategy, all of these things are addressed. They'll get a first-hand opportunity when they come to the auditorium tomorrow to hear from the CEO, the executive directors, on a number of different areas. You heard the CEO mention the list of things that will be covered in a number of chapters. Right at the top of them, service delivery. So you'll hear the team sharing about how we will address some of their main concerns. We've been hearing them week after week on the radio station because we've already really started to share that early consultation with the public on the chapters in this 2025 to 2028 strategy on the Pulse radio show every Monday. We continue to do that yesterday, and you'll see it in some sections of the media, including CBC, where we talk about the health information system and the benefits that will bring to the public. Right now, everything is paper. Mr. Clark has decided this hospital needs to go paperless, saving us millions of dollars, but also making healthcare more accessible and at the fingertips of our patients. So it's just to allow the public to have a greater not only say in their healthcare, but better access across the board.
CEO, talk some more about these priorities that you're pursuing in this 3-year plan.
So the strong one that you just mentioned there is about digitisation and losing the paper. To be able to have the information on the system, electronic patient record, that's accessible to all the clinicians immediately. So somebody presents at the A&E department, we can immediately pull up the notes and see what's been happening. We can see if they've had any prior tests or diagnostics. We can save the money not having to repeat those. If there was a test done yesterday or last week, that's not required to be repeated. We can make decisions much faster on what that treatment plan will be. That information is available up to the wards if the patient's going to get admitted, so they immediately have the information. And also for the public, one of the things that we do here is often they're ringing up trying to find that information themselves about their own appointments, about their own healthcare. And if we build into the health information system a patient portal, they'll be able to book their own appointments, see when their next appointment is, navigate around the system to understand how they can best use that system. And it'll also enable them to see their own medical records. They can see what's happened, what tests have had, what the results were. All that information will be made back available to the patients. So this will probably be the spine of the next 3 years as we build this around. Because having that health information system supports many other things. It supports us in quality, it supports us in waiting times, it supports many different things can come from that. The lack of real-time information and the lack of automated information is a real challenge if we're trying to do anything at the moment. Trying to get information takes so long. By the time we get the information, it's out of date, and we have to start trying to collect it all over again. Really interested in trying to improve quality. We've drafted a new quality framework, and we'll be launching that, about how can we improve quality across the organisation. How can we reduce those waiting times? And we know the pinch points, waiting times for the A&E department, cancelled operations for the electives. So we know, we're probably aware of some of the key challenges. But it's important that we don't guess that we have it right. It's important that we hear from the public and hear what concerns them and hear what they want from their hospital. I do hope you're able to join us tomorrow night.
I certainly hope so as well. What I know for sure is we likely will have a camera, so even if I'm not able to join you live, I'll be able to view what you're talking about, because as you both mentioned, this is very important. It's important to every Barbadian. So the more that we learn about the plans moving forward, the more equipped we will be able to kind of engage with you to make sure we're getting the best possible healthcare options out there. And I know a lot of the times, Shane, we hear about the negative things that are happening, or we're looking at ways that we can improve on services and service delivery and the like. But what are some of the things that you've discovered that you're doing well that you want to carry through into the next couple of years?
I think medication delivery is right at the top of the list. People are very happy that they can rest at their homes and have the medication delivered to them instead of coming into what can sometimes be a crowded pharmacy, although some others like that. They like to come in and actually that's a meeting point for some individuals, have their discussions, have their daily outing, and then collect their medication and go home. Others, they prefer just to pay $10 to $16 and have it collected right at their doorstep. So that is one of the major wins for us. Another major win has been the public dissemination of information, the Pulse Radio show, and of course our media partners have been really helping us to get the information out there to the public. We have been sending out those notices, re-accident and emergency, and it's all about that public education. The public education is something that we want to continue to build on. I know the CEO has given me a mandate of making sure that we have that outlet, that we can have that outreach to the public. So that has to continue into 2025. And we really want Barbadians now, because this is their strategy, this is their hospital. The CEO has crafted the strategy, but they also have now their chance to give input. So when they come into the auditorium, they'll have their chance to say this is what they want to see. So if they have missed something in the strategy, if they see that according to them, something is missing, they'll have their opportunity to say, well, I want to see this in my strategy. Where it is in there already, we'll point that out, and we can make amendments going forward. I mean, I think I would give the CEO an opportunity to say how we will do that in terms of any amendments to the strategy if needed.
Yeah, absolutely. But just before we do that, you said about early wins, and some of the wins we've had already is we've developed a comprehensive governance framework which says how do we operate, how do we work, how do we make decisions. And alongside that, we developed a balanced scorecard which says how are we doing? How are we doing today? How are we doing this week? The strategy is what we're going to be doing in the future. Those first two documents have allowed us to identify what some of the challenges are. And working closely with the Ministry of Health and Wellness, we've been able to secure additional funding, nearly 300 additional posts, additional capital expenditure, 125 million to be split over 2 years. So lots coming for us in that sense from the Ministry being very supportive of our developments. So I think when you can articulate what the requirements are and you can get the support from the leadership, we're really on a journey now to make some significant changes. We've recently celebrated 60 years at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital, and I always think that when they opened that hospital, what a big moment that was. And I think similarly over the next 3 years, we're going to see another seismic change in what's happening for the Hospital for Barbados. In relation to the feedback, we took the feedback from the staff and we capture all the feedback. It's important that if you give us feedback on what you want for your hospital, be that as staff or be that as a member of the public, it's important that we acknowledge that we've heard what you've said and we've identified where that fits into the strategy, or we've identified where it doesn't fit into the strategy, but what we're going to do with it instead. So as we're meeting tomorrow night, we'll give a brief overview of what's in the strategy, and then we'll invite the public to give some feedback as to what they've heard and what they want. We're going to capture that live as they're providing that feedback. We're going to capture that, identify whether it's already in our strategy and how we link that back to them. This is included in this objective, or identify whether it's a new one. When we did it with the staff, they identified things that weren't in the strategy. Now, that's really good for me because it just tells me that we can't think about everything all the time, and getting that feedback saying, what about this, is really important. And we're building that into the strategy now. We listen we take that information and we use that information.
Of course, that's always important. A fresh pair of eyes can really bring a new dimension to something that you've been looking at for a long time and figuring that you're handling it in one way. But to be able to have the public come in and share and know that what they share will be considered in this way, I think will make a drastic difference.
Huge.
To whether people want to come out and communicate. Because often we hear about town hall meetings and there is a structure in place or what is supposed to be something very preliminary, but then we don't see how that information will be filtered and maybe used in going forward. So that's an important part of this particular meeting, and one which I think will set it apart in people's eyes.
Yeah. And we even pushed it back, didn't we? We were due to have the town hall a little bit earlier. But we're speaking with the directors, they were suggesting that might be the wrong time. There's other things happening that week, and we pushed it back to allow additional people the opportunity to be engaged with us. So we listened. I even listened to my own directors. I wanted to get this the strategy consultation happening as soon as possible, but they were guiding me that the timing was wrong. There's other things happening that week. Let's push it back a week. So we listened. We've pushed it back a week. We hope as many people as possible can come and join us.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's what we really want, people to come out. We are trying to provide that live link for those who cannot, and more details will come on that. But definitely, we want people to come and just have their say, feel comfortable. Of course, we'll have some of our medical professionals going through some specific special things with them, so that will be a special treat to really get the meeting going. We'll have, of course, a word of prayer, and then we'll get the agenda started looking at this strategy, looking at the components. The CEO will lead the way, followed by the directors, and then it will be time for the public to have their say, both there and possibly online as well.
All right, talk more about that format that it will take. So it's in a hybrid format.
We're working on the other side, the hybrid format, bringing it to people virtually. So we're looking forward to, or hoping really to have that component. And once we do, we'll announce that through our socials and our website, so people can continue to connect to QEH Connect, www.qehconnect.com, to see when that goes live. And also our socials on Facebook and Instagram under that QEH Connect handle. But just as I said, we'll try to get into that strategy. It's a 2-hour meeting from 6 to 8. So just come, spend some time with us as you have your say about the future of your hospital.
All right, excellent. I certainly look forward to that. And a little off script. Today is International Day of Persons with Disabilities. Any special message from you for this international observance, CEO Clark?
Absolutely. I mean, we're a large organisation, and we should do more to employ people with disabilities and support people with disabilities. So I absolutely understand our responsibility as one of the largest organisations, if not the largest organisation in Barbados,
2,500 strong,
to lead the way with supporting people with disabilities, both through healthcare, but also through employment.
All right, well, thank you both for coming in, and make sure that you make it out to that town hall meeting tomorrow. Very, very important. Again, it's coming off at 6 o'clock at the QEH auditorium. You'll get to engage with the CEO himself. Of course, Shane will be there, and many other players from the hospital as well. Hey, coming up in the next hour, we are going to have a special co-host in Senator Andwele Boyce as we continue to observe the Day of Persons with Disabilities. And you'll also get an opportunity to win in the Jingle All the Way and Win competition on this edition, sponsored by Jordan Supermarket. Of course, your Jingle All the Way and Win competition is brought to you with the compliments of Flow and Standard. Do stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb, and together we will travel the world.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
94.7 FM with the kind compliments of Great Health Works, agents for Omega XL and Probiotics. Guardian General Insurance Limited and the Cut and Drive Network brings live coverage of Cricket West Indies Home Series October 31st to December 19th. Join the action, brought to you by Great Health Works, agents for Omega XL and Probiotics. Guardian General Insurance Limited. Live safe, live easy, and the Cut and Drive Network.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News.
Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
All right, it's time to jingle all the way and win with the compliments of Flow and Standard. So get close to your telephone lines because this is all about you. You get a chance to win today this laptop cooling and standing pad, as well as a nice bottle of something for Christmas. And over this side, we also have a nice stand for your phone. So these are the things that are up for grabs today. Remember, you have a chance to win every day from now until the new year with the compliments of Flow and Standard for this particular jingle all the way and win competition. Remember, you're calling me on 228-5562 or 228-5563. Answer a very simple question and you can win. It's that simple. So call me up. I'm waiting for those phone calls. Your question for today: what was the old nut seller offering in the song Nut Seller? And don't call me and just say nuts, you know. What was the old nut seller offering in the song The Nut Seller? I'm told there's somebody already on the telephone line. Good morning to you. Welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning. All the best to you and yours for the season. Tell me your name or where you're calling me from.
I'm Maria from St. Philip.
Hi, Maria from St. Philippine. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
All right. So tell me what the old nut seller was offering from this tree.
Well, I guess he was offering nuts.
Nuts and other things. So let's go.
Candy.
Pardon?
Candy.
No.
You know the answer.
I never heard the nut seller say I'm offering no candy at all. So let's go again. Do you know the song?
No.
You don't know the nut seller song?
Not a Christmas song?
It is not a Christmas song. It's a Bajan song.
Oh. Sweet toffees. Yeah, the nut seller, yeah.
Think about it. Merry Man, Sir Emil Straker. Funniest thing you ever heard is the old nut seller. Tray all packed up to the brim, but there's not in that order. But hey, you know what I mean.
Toffees, something.
Man, you makes it feel like shit, man.
Yeah, I feel real bad. I didn't know the answer yesterday.
All right, we're gonna have to run, but thank you for participating. All right, let's take one more call and see if we get somebody winning today with a compliment to Flow and Standard. All right, so back to the phone lines. We thought this one was going to be so simple. All right, good morning. What's your name and where are you calling us from?
Good morning, Jamila Christchurch.
Hey, Jamila, and big shout out to everybody on the South Coast. Do you have the answer? The question is, what was the old nut seller offering in the song Nut Seller? Note to you, Jamila, Nut Seller is not a Christmas song.
Toffee, something, package of nuts, tell me what you want, young fella. I tried to sing it in my head over and over.
Listen, if you can get the first thing right, maybe we'll go with it. All Bajan treats. Go again.
Toffees.
Before the toffees.
Before the toffees?
Who?
Conkeys.
The nut seller was selling conkeys?
Give me a clue. Give me first letter.
Oh my goodness. I did not think this would be so hard. I can't help you. The song is there. Something. I'll tell you package of nuts. And then you got to tell me what you want, young fella. Sugar. Man, listen. See you, Jamila. Have a good day at work, okay?
You too.
All right. It will seem we don't have a winner for today. 2 calls. And I have people in studio who know the answer. So we're going to reveal the answer. All right, let's take one more call and see if this person knows what the nut seller, the Bajan nut seller, has in that tray. Good morning to you. Welcome to Jingle All the Way and Win.
It's comforts, toffees, packages of nuts.
Can you name one more thing that was in that tray? Comforts, toffees, nuts.
Tell me what you want, young fella.
So the nut seller was selling, tell me what you want, young fella. One more thing that was in the tray.
He's singing a slave trail ahead. Is he on up first? With the trail, but not.
That's not how it goes. Okay, we are going to give you the prize anyway, so congratulations. What's your name and where are you calling us from?
I'm from St. Michael and the name is Alana.
Okay, Alana. This voice sounds familiar. Good to have St. Michael in the house. So is the comforts, toffees, nuts, the gums, the extra strongs. Listen.
Down to the brim, but not the chance of falling. Well, I never seen nothing one yet. They're always big as hell. I believe at night when they get home, this is eat what they don't sell. The next time you should stop and listen. This is what they say. Toffees and nuts, gums, mistress, look my hair.
All right, so you got a little bit of it and the gums. We forgot that. Okay, pick a number. 1, 2, or 3?
Number 1.
Number 1. That's number 3. This is number 1. So you have a bottle of something really nice and local. I don't think you would find this in the nut seller's tray, but it is a bottle of natural wine, golden apple at that, from Shalana's Natural Wines. How about that? So congratulations to you. Make sure that you pair that with some Bajan sweet treats this Christmas, all right?
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
All right, and thank you. Stay on the line. Our producer, Nadia, is going to take your information off air. All right, just about 5 minutes after 7 o'clock, that segment brought to you with the compliments of Flo and Standard Distribution on Wildy. Time for a break. When we come back, my co-host for the day is going to join me on set. Senator Andwili Boyce is in the house, and we have some very special guests coming up in the next hour as well. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affair segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb, and together we will travel the world.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
94.7 FM with the kind compliments of Great Health Works, agents for Omega XL.
Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
It's 7:09, time for an update of the news here on Morning Barbados. Morning Barbados brought to you with the compliments of Jordan Supermarket. Good morning to you on this December 3rd. I'm Tisha Hines. The U.S. congressional delegation's visit to Barbados to commemorate the 58th anniversary of independence and the 100th birthday of Congresswoman Shirley Chisholm must not be taken for granted. That's according to Prime Minister Mia Motley, who says it was not easy getting the officials to come to the island last weekend to commemorate the historical events. She was speaking during a reception at the United States Ambassador's residence.
Do not take it for granted how difficult it is to get a congressional delegation to come here this weekend. And the fact that all of you have come, and I want also to single out Representative Clyburn, and Representative Green, who were not members of the congressional delegation, are also on the ground. And forgive me if I also reinforce with Representative Clyburn that we are even more family than the rest because of the link between South Carolina and Barbados, and in particular Charleston and Spencetown. And I'm so happy that you are coming to see firsthand Arlington House and all of the other things that we cause you to recognize that we have now a solemn duty to bring our two, your state and my country together in an even more meaningful way.
Meanwhile, Chair of the Congressional Black Caucus, Stephen Horsford, says the congressional leaders are committed to a stronger partnership with Barbadians and to living the legacy of the deceased Barbadian-American Congresswoman. He's also praising Prime Minister Motley's leadership of Barbados.
I love Barbados, as my friends, including the Prime Minister, might say, I Bajan. So I am very happy to be the U.S. Ambassador to Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean. And I just wanted to say welcome. Welcome to my residents. I am honored to host you for this very special reception honoring Barbados and Barbados Independence Day, but also the 100th birthday celebration of Shirley Chisholm. And we are so excited. We have members of Shirley Chisholm's family here tonight.
That, of course, was Ambassador Nias. Agricultural officials are finding alternative ways to boost food production as heavy rains continue to deplete crops, leading to shortages. The Ministry of Agriculture, Food and Nutritional Security is collaborating with the Food and Agriculture Organization to promote precision agriculture and boost productivity through advanced digital crop management systems. Anesta Henry has that report.
The Ministry of Agriculture, Food and Nutritional Security is collaborating with the Food and Agriculture Organization to help boost food production on the island. Senior Agricultural Officer Brett Taylor says this move is necessary as heavy rainfall continues to decrease crop production. He was addressing the opening of the Enhancing Agricultural Production Through More Precise and Efficient Digital Crop Management Systems workshop.
The Ministry of Agriculture and its advent to perceive or to enhance agricultural production within the country has looked at a number of different methods for use in increasing agricultural production. We are all fighting with the advent of climate change. As you would have seen, we are having lots of rain which has inundated our crops, our fields with water, and it's making it difficult for production to go on.
Mr. Taylor says the project funded under the Food and Agriculture Organization's Technical Cooperation Program will help farmers to enhance production through another route.
Looking at protected structures and how do we do better cropping systems within protected structures. We all have to recognize that only with protected structures, it is not only a case of increasing production, but it's also a case of having a better management structure and how do we do the production within that protected structure.
FAO's Trade and Markets Officer Juan Pelez says the project aims to empower farmers.
As we focus on specific priority crops and model farms, this initiative is a foundation for scaling similar approaches for other crops and farming systems in the future. Above all, this project is about, as rightly put forward already by Brett, is about empowering the farmers in Barbados with the tools, in this case, knowledge and support they need to thrive in an ever-evolving agricultural landscape.
The project includes greenhouse site assessments. Anesta Henry, CBC News.
Thanks, Anesta. An exhibition of talent and skill was on show as the Samuel Jackman Prescott Institute of Technology marked its 55th anniversary last week. Trevor Thorpe tells us organizers want to make it an annual affair.
Several students showcased their expertise during the 55th anniversary celebrations of the Samuel Jackman Prescott Institute of Technology. Government tutor Lisa Holder says from what she has observed, the fashion industry is in good hands.
The future of Barbados, especially within our fashion industry, we just need to, I think we need to spend a little bit more money within our the industry, the fashion industry, to develop the students a little more.
Tutor Marissa Marshall says that other students also showcased their skills, and she hopes the anniversary celebrations will become an annual affair.
We have the home economics students who are showcasing different preservatives such as jams. We have the garment technology students who are showcasing the different clothing. We also have the hairdresser students with the different hairstyles that are on displays, as well as the beauty therapy students with the different fingernails designs that they would have done, as well as products that can be used on the nails as well.
The tutor also gave some background about the origins of the anniversary celebration.
The school is celebrating 55 years being established, so we decided to play on that. So that's how we came up with the name 55 Shades of Human Ecology. So to highlight the different things that are done within our department, so to heighten the knowledge of those throughout the country, the students, so that they will know the subjects that we have offered here, so that they can possibly sign up when they're finished studying at secondary school.
As part of the activities, participants were recognized for their work. Trevor Thorpe for the Business Report.
Thank you so much, Trevor. In sports, Bangladesh have built a handy lead of 211 runs against West Indies after day 3 of the second and final test at Sabina Park in Jamaica yesterday. Resuming the day on 70 for 1, the Windies collapsed to 146 all out in 65 overs, as the last 8 batters on the scoreboard all finished in single digits. Casey Carty led with 40, while Nahid Rana snapped up 5 for 61. In their second innings, Bangladesh reached 193 for 5 at the close, a lead of 211. Shamar Joseph has 2 for 70. Here are the highlights. Play on Day 4 begins at 11 o'clock this morning, live on MCTV's ESPN Channel 308 and also on 94.7 FM. Meanwhile, the final of the BCA Schools Under-19 40-over championship between Queen's College and Combermere will be live on CBC TV8 from 11 o'clock. And that's it for the update of news. We have a full package coming your way at 12 noon here on TV8. If you're on the move, tune into our radio network of stations as they simulcast The World at 1. That's 98.1 FM, 94.7 FM, and Q 100.7 FM. Time for a break, but he's already here. My co-host is already in place. And Dwaylee Boyce, Senator Dwaylee Boyce, is going to be co-hosting with me next.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
94.7 FM with the kind compliments of Great Health Works, agents for Omega XL and Probiotics. Guardian General Insurance Limited and the Cut and Drive Network brings live coverage of Cricket West Indies Home Series October 31st.
Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
As we told you all morning, today is International Day of Persons with Disabilities 2024. We're pleased to have Senator Andwele Boyce, who's made some time to come in and sit in to co-host with us this morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Tisha. Great to be here. Good morning, Barbados.
It's good to have you with us on this day, and I'd like to kind of reflect on all the work that you've been doing. Mm-hmm. Congratulations, firstly, are in order for being named as a disabilities advocate. Mm-hmm. What does that mean to you?
It means that I get to contribute to spearheading the work around the improvement of the lives of persons with disabilities. Over the last 2 years, as we have crafted policy and crafted legislation, I've been deeply involved in every aspect of consultation, ultimately crafting and certainly bringing the message to Barbadians, because, Tisha, as you're aware, this isn't just about the static legislation. I think what Barbados needs to do is to shift culture. And my colleague and I, Janelle Odo, have the honor of helping Barbados through that conversation of shifting the culture to improving the lives of persons with disabilities, because the realities so far have not been ones where we have centered or paid enough attention to the lives of persons with disabilities. And so Janelle and I get the honor of leading Barbados through that conversation.
And I've had the good pleasure of kind of watching you grow up, which is a good thing. It kind of ages me a little.
Just a little.
But you were here as a very young man. I'm trying to bring you along on this age journey. In 2008 as an intern. Yes. What was that experience like, being here at CBC, even as we look toward legislation that offers more of that opportunity to the disabled?
So a fun tidbit is that I grew up wanting to be a broadcaster. I think you're aware of that. Tisha was my the one I tagged along with the most in radio here, and telling the stories of persons with disabilities, marginalized people, has always been very important to me. So that to have the opportunity to do this here with you on this International Day of Persons with Disabilities is perfect.
Now, I was saying all morning, fingers crossed. We're wondering if the legislation will be laid in Parliament today. I know you've had tons of meetings, close to 100, consultations. Minister Humphrey, the PS, they've been working tirelessly with the entire team. I know PS Wilshire is always kind of up front as well, which is wonderful to see. Will it be laid in Parliament today?
So sadly, it will not be laid in Parliament today. It would have been poetic for it to be laid on the International Day of Persons with Disabilities, but certainly we've taken the opportunity over the next couple of weeks to continue the conversation and to enhance the level of consultation. Like I said, this is going to be groundbreaking for Barbadians, so we want to ensure that all Barbadians are engaged and involved in the process. And so we're just near the end. We hope to lay in December. So fingers crossed we will lay in December, but just not today.
As my mother loves to say, we don't have as far to go as we've come.
Exactly. Taking time and wasting time.
It's true as far as the legislation is concerned. But for you, what are some of the key priorities that really kind of strike a nerve with you, or you're really excited about with the legislation?
So that's like asking a mother to choose between, or father to choose between their favorite child. But so education is critically important for obvious reasons, because we need to build that foundation of capacity in persons with disabilities. And we know that the reality for persons with disabilities in the context of education has not been equitable, has not been always accessible. And so education is critically important. Health is critically important as well. I saw you having a conversation with the CEO of the QEH earlier, and certainly the the need for synergies between the disability policy and the outputs of the QEH are going to be essential as we hope to improve public health, but also things like sports and entertainment and those kinds of things as well. Because as I say often, every facet of Barbadian life has to be available and accessible to persons with disabilities. I think very often we think about education and health and housing, but we don't necessarily take the time to ensure that the fun and the frolic and the frivolities of being Barbadian are available to persons with disabilities. And the law does some of that as well.
Yeah, just having fun is, at the core of having a great life and just enjoying your space. It must be really challenging to hear so many people coming here to Barbados and enjoying the landscape and not be able to enjoy it as well. And most certainly not by choice, but because you don't have a choice. Exactly. So I had occasion to engage with you guys in one of the workshops, and one thing that stays with me with the legislation that is to be laid, what you're proposing is the whole idea of quotas to kind of grapple with and fight head on this challenge of having so many people who are unemployed, who are disabled. I think that's very, very, very important. And that's one of the things that's really top of my list.
Indeed. So 90% of persons with disabilities are unemployed. It's a startling statistic.
Let's rest on that for a minute. 90% of persons with disabilities are unemployed.
Yeah. And so the policy and the legislation will take a position about quotas, certainly in the public sector, with a view to enhancing the employment of persons with disabilities and certainly working towards the greater employment of persons with disabilities. Because I think very often in the context of social policy, in the context of disability policy, we think, or we have thought in the past, that there will always be someone to take care of a person with a disability, right? With no reference to whether that is true for every individual person with a disability or whether that is desirable. Certainly because there are people with disabilities who want to contribute to their own well-being, their own independence. And so the legislation in multiple ways addresses the issue of employment through quotas, through things like redeployment as well, because we have had a culture of sending home, for want of a better term, or to use the Barbadian vernacular, persons who become disabled during their course of employment. And that becomes a burden on a weight on the social security system. So that we need to reimagine all of those things with a view to creating a more accessible and inclusive Barbados.
Absolutely. It's all about being accessible and inclusive. And, we support that 100%. Yes, my co-host for today making some time for us, even though he is super busy. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we have some more interviews. We're going to be sharing more from the voices that you want to hear from. That's all next.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
94.7 FM with the kind compliments of Great Health Works, agents for Omega XL and Probiotics, Guardian General Insurance Limited, and the Cut and Drive Network brings live coverage of Cricket West Indies Home Series October 31st to December 19th. Join the action, brought to you by Great Health Works, agents for Omega XL and Probiotics, Guardian General Insurance Limited, Live Safe, Live Easy, and the Cut and Drive Network.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. It's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
You know why?
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affair segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb, and together we will travel the world.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
94.7 FM with the kind compliments of Great Health Works, agents for Omega XL and Probiotics. Guardian General Insurance Limited and the Cut and Drive Network brings live coverage of Cricket West Indies Home Series October 31st to December 19th. Join the action, brought to you by Great Health Works, agents for Omega XL and Probiotics. Guardian General Insurance Limited. Live safe, live easy, and the Cut and Drive Network.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love cruise.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affair segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning and welcome back to this edition of Morning Barbados. I am Andwele Boyce and delighted to be here this morning on this International Day of Persons with Disabilities. With us this morning are members of the NUSB Youth Empowerment Group, Sharice Roach, who is their Youth Director. Good morning to you, Sharice.
Good morning. And good morning, Barbados.
Also joining us is Sion Greenidge, who's a member of that group as well.
Morning.
And of course, Udily Wickham Ashby, who we all know as a advocate for persons with disabilities, a face and a voice throughout the years for the improvement of the lives of persons with disabilities. Good morning to you both.
Hi, morning, Anthony. Morning, Tisha.
Morning.
Morning, Barbados.
So, Sharice, let's begin with you. The NUSB's youth group is relatively new. Tell us about the inspiration behind the creation of the group.
Whilst looking through the organization, it was realized that young people, they face many challenges based off, well, inexperience, I should really say. They're still trying to find their way through life and navigate it with a disability. And so therefore we thought that we needed our own space to come together to empower each other and share our stories and grow and, well, live.
So what brought you, Sion, to the group, the National United Society of the Blind? How were you able to kind of hear about the group and become a part of the organization?
To be honest, the group kind of seeked me out because I lost my vision about 3 years ago. And a doctor, Dr. Francis Eye Hospital, told me about the group, but I never made an effort to seek it out. But then a member called me. I think it was Pedro that called me, and then after I talked to Carrie Ann, and she was teaching me how to do stuff again, like using the computer and phones and stuff. And then from there, she invited me out, so I came to a couple meetings. From there, I joined.
Sharice, you spoke about young people being blind. Tell us about some of the challenges you face and why you think a specific youth empowerment group is important.
Some of the challenges faced by the young people are low self-esteem, and mainly because they feel segregated and tossed aside and alone, basically trying to navigate these uncharted waters. We also have the challenges of education and employment and social life as well.
Absolutely. Now for you, Udily, you've been around for quite some time. I think we first met with you coming here to CBC to do a radio program. So you've been pretty much exposed to, what I would call the real world for the most part for a very long time. You're also the first visually impaired social work graduate in Barbados. So, flowers to you on that, just for a moment. But talk to us about how things have changed in our society based on what you've been able to observe through the years, because, these young people are here with us now, but you certainly have been around for a little while longer.
Yes. Thanks, Tisha. I think because, as you correctly said, and also Sharice has also pinned it, that me as an older person would have gone through certain life experiences, while the younger people know how to experience some of these things for themselves. And the changes have really been significant in many ways. Over the years, we've seen a change in attitude. So more and more Barbadians are open to supporting people with disabilities. They're open to giving the individuals with disabilities an opportunity to participate in education, in access to better health care, employment. That those doors are beginning to open a bit more, and generally just giving more encouragement and support to the Barbadians with disabilities. So I think those changes are extremely positive. There's still a lot of work to be done, because like me right now, I'm preparing to participate in the Run Barbados 5K on Saturday. And my trainer, Dr. Tony Nichols, she was or is encouraging me to participate in the marathon. Now, to do that, it means that our roads need to be a bit more accessible. So access is still one of those big areas that we need to make a big priority. And not only the roads, the transportation system, you know, we need to really join those two and make them top priority. So it allows people with disabilities the freedom to move and independently do many of the things they want to do.
So you talk about preparing for Saturday's big event in the Run Barbados. Tell me, what was the inspiration behind getting involved? You've always looked fairly fit. But is it
just fairly.
Is it that you have always been interested in sport?
I've always loved sports. I've tried my hand as a student at school with the hurdles, with high jump, long jump, you know, and I always enjoyed running. There's a feeling that any person who runs experiences, but it can not be described with words. Words are not adequate, because when you run, there's a sense of freedom, there's a sense of calmness, you know, just a oneness with the world. And I always enjoyed that. And after my vision worsened and I was unable to run, I would walk extensively. And then as my vision got even worse, you know, I would encourage and implore people to run with me, and people would say yes, but then I think they got cold feet. Yes, wondering, you know, if I got an injury or something happened.
If you fall, yeah.
But last year, Dr. Tony Nichols participated in a marathon in Canada, and she saw blind people running the marathon. So she came back all enthused about encouraging a blind person to run. And of course I put up my hand. But then when I recognized that Run Barbados, I would have been overseas at the time. So I said, well, next year, God willing. And that's what happened. So I'm really fussy about it.
Next year is this year.
Next year is this year.
I am fussy too. I most certainly have never seen it. A blind and guide is what is called. So that should be a very interesting run. For you, Sion, you mentioned that you lost your vision just 3 years ago. Talk to us about even that, because sometimes when we talk about the disabled in quotes, people speak as though it is this foregone thought or something that can never happen to them, but we know this is not true. This most certainly is not the case. So talk to us about how you have been able to kind of transition from being able to see to this place.
I guess when you think about it, it's just looking at life in a different sense. Because obviously before, with vision, everything's come fast. But without vision, you gotta think about what you're doing. You gotta recalibrate how you think about how to tackle issues. And then with technology today, it's kind of easier with like computers, internet, phones, everything is taught in a sense, so most things. So a lot of things are more accessible, so you can still enjoy stuff like television, reading books and stuff like that. So the transition wasn't the worst, but obviously it still had something. It's still got your down days. I always got friends like Sharice to talk to, and then you got a family you could talk to, or even older friends from before, you could talk to them and get out the house sometimes and just feel like, I don't want to say normal again, but feel at ease again, I guess I would say.
Sharice, tell us about your experience transitioning to, or adapting rather, to blindness.
My experience, that is an awesome question. For me, in the beginning, it was a bit of a challenge. I would be honest and say that I actually didn't want to do much. I was even afraid to go back into my 6-inch heels. But thanks to Miss Eiffel, her words of encouragement, I now flaunt my stuff in my 6-inch heels. For me, I'm still trying to adjust to the quote-unquote lack of independence. When I say that, I mean I was accustomed to being able to get up and hop into my car and do what I need to do. But now I have to wait until persons can carry me or find different methods or ways of getting there. But apart from that, it's all, I'm grateful.
Yeah, and I mean, you guys, you've been a little too happy all morning, telling inside jokes. I was like, come on, let me hear what's going on. But it's wonderful that you are able to see past it, no pun intended. And, you know, it's great that you have this group to be able to lean on. I know for you, Yudli, and to kind of reflect on all that has happened before, just for perspective's sake. It must have been a fight of a different kind earlier before. You know, I heard about, in the past, a disabilities unit that was not on the ground floor and wasn't accessible to the disabled. So coming from that place where we now are moving in the next 3 years to make all government buildings accessible, these things must signal a huge win for you.
Of course, and I'll share a small story with you, Tisha. Yesterday, one of the members of Barnard shared an invitation to Andromeda Gardens on Friday. Now, last year, she did a video which she placed on her YouTube channel, and she's a wheelchair user. And because of visiting Andromeda Gardens and talking with the owners and so on, they have now worked at making Andromeda Gardens more accessible to persons with mobility challenges especially. And that's what I'm talking about, and where you're going out there individually and self-advocating and also as organizations advocating. So we've moved in persons' way of thinking a bit. We've helped to create that shift where they're more looking at what can we do to give support to people with disabilities. And I think that's significant. And we also have to encourage our people with disabilities to be a bit patient as well with some of the changes that we need. It will not happen overnight. It's not instant. So when the government speaks about, you know, making all public buildings accessible within 3 years, some will not be able to complete it in 3 years, but at least the goal of achieving that is what is significant, and having, you know, the owners, the realtors, everybody involved in the process, so that they're really looking at how do we make sure the gradient of this ramp is correct? How do we make sure that the grab bars in the bathroom are at the right height, and braille on the doorways, or some other tactile thing? You know, so all this goes into making your building accessible. It's not just the ramp, it's not just the bathroom, but it's also the lighting, it's also a signal system for the deaf and hard of hearing, so that they're alerted if there's a fire, if there is a bomb scare, whatever. So all this goes into making our public spaces very accessible.
Talk to me, Yudili, about your preparation for Saturday. How have you been preparing for the Run Barbados event?
I've been running, Tony and I, we go training on the Paces boardwalk. So we go and we run, and she times us, she checks our pace of running and stuff like that. And I know people are wondering, so how do you run with a blind person? There's a small device, almost like an elastic band. It's called a tether. So she puts one piece on her wrist, I put the other piece on my wrist, and there's a loop between us. So if I have to turn left, she will, you know, tug it, and I would know automatically I have to adjust and turn left or turn right. And while we're running, she also talks with me. So yes, we're moving straight ahead. There's somebody coming up on your left, there's somebody coming up on your right. You know, so generally that's how we will train and just keep fit. I also have to give a shout out to Akeem Rada. He's a fitness trainer. Right, and he has been trained to work with persons with disabilities. So I have not gotten as much exercise as I would like, but he's one that will work with me in exercising as well. So that's part of my preparation.
Yeah, it's really wonderful to hear all of this stuff, and I'm here bright-eyed, and I'm kind of taking it all in. that workshop that I was able to attend, was it 2 weeks ago, Andreli?
Yes.
Just about 2 weeks or so ago, taught me so much about language. And I think that's a great place for us to go after this. So after this, I think that we should look at some of the ways that we might be discriminating, even in the way we speak.
Exactly. Much more of our conversation on the other side of the break. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affair segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb. And together we will travel the world.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning and welcome back to Morning Barbados. Our conversation continues with members of the blind and visually impaired community, Sion Greenidge, Sharice Roach, and Udily Wickham. Before going to break, Tisha indicated that we would come back and have a conversation about language, which is so critically important as we seek to improve the lives of persons with disabilities. So Udily, I'll come to you because you're an older youth. So you have
Not an older youth.
Thank you, Andrea.
You're welcome. You have the perspective of Barbados moving from the language of handicapped to the language of differently abled and now to the language of persons with disabilities. Talk to us about that span of time and the ways in which the attitude has changed along with the language.
I have to say, when I first came into the movement, handicap, blind eye, 4 eyes, then wheelchair-bound people, then deaf and dumb people. That was the type of language that we heard on a constant basis. And because of the advocacy of many individuals with disabilities, some are still alive, some have passed on, but they would constantly also remind persons, we are individuals, we are human beings. Therefore, say to us, persons who are blind and visually impaired, people who are deaf and hard of hearing, people who are wheelchair users, people who are psychiatric users, are not mad. So that type of language has shifted significantly. And I'm really happy that more and more Barbadians are using positive language when they're talking to people with disabilities.
Yeah, for you, Sharice, what are some of the more outrageous things that you have experienced or heard that you would like to see changed?
For me, well, where do I start? At the beginning.
Yes.
Put she there to sit down. Or bring she here. I'm saying, hello.
I'm here.
Exactly. What do you think she want to eat? Or what do you think she want I'm sorry, I'm speaking Bajan because
So
that's
not
how they
so
speak.
not addressing you.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's what I face a lot of. But as Udali stated, for the most part, Barbadians are shying away from that, and they're now addressing us as individuals and human beings. But you have the one or two that you would have to say, no, it's not done that way, or it's not said like that.
Yeah. I think it's important to have that conversation.
Yes.
Yeah, it definitely is. Sharice, how do we get involved with the NUSB? How does the NUSB youth group, how does someone join? I know that you launched just 2 Sundays ago. I happen to have been there. Tell someone who wants to reach out to you how they can do so.
Yes, certainly. You can reach out through our Facebook page, our Instagram page. You can also contact us at 234-3331 or email us at youthem.empowerment.nusbbarbados@gmail.com. Once you're between the ages of 18 to 40.
That was my next question. How young is you?
You are blind and visually impaired, you are eligible to be a member, and we are willing and excited to have you.
Excellent stuff. Sion, from you, getting back to the language, you know, what are some of the ways that we're not getting it right?
I guess in my limited experience, I should say, things like, say I'm walking the road, I hear something like, people just sound like pitiful towards it. I'm making it known, so stuff like that isn't very encouraging. Or if you go to a restaurant, they want to ask you what you want. As Sherry said, they want to talk to someone who's with you or something, like if you are a child or something. So things like that, people should shy away from and talk to us like individuals, not as children, I guess, or pets or something.
That's a good way to put it. And sometimes we won't get it right. I think the important thing is to ask.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I say all the time that I have no issue with someone asking me about the particulars of disability. I say all the time also, though, that may not be everybody's perspective. And as able-bodied people, we have to accept that. And Dwayne might be willing to explain to you the particulars of his disability, but Sharice might not. And that is entirely fine. And so as we have this conversation around not only improving the language and interactions with people with disabilities, those are things that we have to appreciate as well. And also, there's so much information out there that you can do your own research. The fundamental questions are things that you can seek information on and educate yourself. Yeah, as well.
You know, one other point to add to the conversation: language is extremely personal as well.
Exactly.
Because someone may say to me, "Oh, you're blind, Udali," and I'm comfortable with that. While another person, if you say to them that they're blind, no, I'm sightless or I'm visually impaired. So it is very, very personal, and as Andrea said, just ask a question.
Yeah.
And allow that individual to have their right also to self-determine if they want to respond or not respond.
And that's not necessarily a special request, because we are out here saying, this is how I want to be referred to. This is the name I want to be called. This is how I want people to speak with me. This is how I want to be engaged with. So it's about extending that right to all people. Yeah? I've had a good time. The theme for this year is amplifying the leadership of persons with disabilities for an inclusive and sustainable future. And I certainly think we're well on our way, on that pathway, with the upcoming laying of this legislation. It was wonderful for the little help.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
And of course, it's always rich conversation. I've had the opportunity to be able to work with persons from disabled in all areas for a long time. And I really appreciate that you guys have extended that opportunity to me. So on behalf of the entire team, I want to thank you all for coming in and sharing on this day. And thank you for co-hosting with me in this final hour, and really. Final word from you.
You are most welcome. It was quite a pleasure to do so. I'm going to ask Barbadians to join the conversation around persons with disabilities at NDEA_Barbados on Instagram. There you will see the amplification of the issues and the solutions as we improve the lives of persons with disabilities. Tisha, this was a pleasure.
Well, we can make it more often. Yes. All right, coming up tomorrow on Morning Barbados, we talk HR with the Human Resources Management Association of Barbados. We're talking bamboo retreat as you get ready for the festive holiday season. Some great opportunities to give gift vouchers and so on. We continue our conversations with now on the 16 days of activism. And of course, you get a chance with the compliments of our wonderful sponsors to win and win big. Morning Barbados is brought to you with the compliments of Jordan Supermarket. On behalf of my co-host and Dwaylee Boyce, the Senator, I'm Tisha Hines. Have a wonderful day today.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning.